Yo, good morning. It is day 19 of the 30-day challenge. And as you could probably tell, my voice is a little bit hoarse this morning. Been making lots of sounds and experimenting with my voice. And it's just become apparent as soon as I started speaking right now. So, let's see how that goes. First thing in the morning, I didn't even think to speak before doing this video. That's another good point. Warming up the voice. Something good to do before videos. I didn't even think about that. In the past, I would have had a bit of time where my voice was warmed up, said a few things, spoken a little bit before I did the video. Today, no. My name's Mitchell, and if you've been following along, you'll know that we're at day 19, and that it's been quite a journey with exploring the different facets of expressing ourselves on camera and being ourselves, truly being ourselves. Because it's one of the most difficult things in this reality to be truly ourselves. And it's pretty much one of life's biggest challenges, is can we be ourselves in spite of all of the brainwashing and the programs, the beliefs of people that we know, the friendship circles that we have, the religions that have been put upon us, and all of these things. I mean, we're all aware it's there. Most of the time we ignore it. I say we as a collective. Since I started seeing it, I can't unsee it. It's pretty damn impossible. Seeing the ways that we use our words, the ways that we tell stories in order to drag people into our reality. I'll point the finger at myself here. There's certain things that I believe, certain things about my own story that can be limiting to other people. It may be expansive to someone, and then it may be limiting to someone else. When we really take a look at the words that we're using and how we're using our voice, we can really start to self-reflect and note where we would like to improve. This comes down to what information we put out. For example, unless I'm speaking about someone in a constructive manner, I don't really want to speak about someone. I wouldn't really want to speak about someone on camera in a way that that I wouldn't speak to them personally. And the way that I would speak to myself. So I know there's a whole thing around on YouTube where people, it's kind of like paparazzi, or people will put shade on other people in order to bring themselves up. It doesn't feel mentally healthy to do that. I think it's part of the world that if someone says something that we can make a comment on it, for sure. Especially if someone has made a bold public statement. This is the key. Can you make a statement about that without trying to make yourself as the superior one? Or to play the inferiority role, which is put them in the pit or put them up on a pedestal. Like if someone that I really admire says something publicly, I'd like to be able to speak about that person as if they're a human being. And this is the view piece. It's around equally, like as human beings, as souls, we're all equal. Then when it comes to skill sets and particular ways of being, this is, you're going to know someone who's better with money than you are, someone who's better at singing than you are, someone that's worse at singing than you are, someone that has got a better car than you. Maybe they handle their finances better. Maybe they spend all their money on material items. Maybe another person spends all their money on feeding the poor. Whatever those things are, we can so easily cast our judgments upon those people and say they're that because of this, they're that because of this. And we can either pin ourselves up against them, or we can choose to see them as having different skill sets. They've got different tools available to them. They're at a different point in their journey. They're expressing themselves in the way that they express themselves. And I remember hearing this thing around wealthy people, that they don't compare themselves at the top. Like there is no racism, there's no like that stuff doesn't exist up in the higher echelons of society, let's say. That's all like, you could say it's like a lower vibrational thing where people are stuck in these programs. You know, myself, I'm moving myself out of this, and it's requiring me to spend time around people who are operating at that, like, yes, we can do this, optimistic like framework. People who are doing courageous things, people who have gratitude for life, who can express love and can also operate well within the money world. They can operate well within the money world as well as being, you know, good in family, and just knowing how to be, in general, good people. And if you've ever spent time on a job site, like a tradie job site, building site, man, there's a lot of negativity in that space, like in a lot of those spaces. And like those people, they get stuck. Like they're so stuck in a lot of ways. This isn't to say that they're all like this. It's, how would you say? It becomes an echo chamber, because we become the product of who we spend our time around, in what we choose to put out into the world. And for example, if you turn up at a job site and you're in a bad mood, you're going to encounter probably 10 more people that are in a bad mood, and maybe more, maybe less. Maybe you'll experience someone in a good mood and it will shift you, or it will just trigger you. And so there is this like striving for human beings to reach a state of harmony with their environment. And so if the state of a space is disharmony, then everyone around them is going to experience disharmony and dissonance. If I was putting out a lot of dissonance right now and you were feeling dissonant, then we'd be perpetuating that same vibration, the same belief. Let's say that belief could be, this is one that's come up. I think I brought it up yesterday as well. It's the children are meant to be seen and not heard. Like, this is a toxic belief. This is a really toxic program. And what it does is invalidates children. And then as they grow into teenagers and adults, they stay the same. That same frequency, that same vibration stays within them. You imagine it's like a pocket of vibration where we're meant to be seen but not heard. And that just sits. It it goes from being a belief, and it just sits in the body. And it's like, this is being proven over and over and over again, how the body holds these things, it holds traumas, and not in the sense of, like, I know the trauma word's been thrown around a lot. From my coach, he mentioned a frame on trauma, which I really liked. He said that trauma is simply adaptation. It's your body adapting to its environment, your mind adapting to its environment. So if someone yells at you every single day, you're going to become a little bit hardened to that. And you'll develop a trauma around that, a repetitive trauma. And you'll start to see reality as that. That is what reality is. Because you adapt to protect yourself. And you go, okay, someone's not yelling at me. This is weird. And so you create a trauma that may become, this is the whole frequency density thing. It goes from being a thought, a belief, and also stuff within the nervous system. And then it will find a space in the body, and it'll become a holding pattern. It'll become a muscle that stays tight all the time, a ligament that holds itself in a certain way. The way that you breathe, the way that you move. You know, you might lean to one side more than another. You might engage one muscle more than another. It can come out in so many different ways. And it can come out in the way that you speak, purely in your voice. I would say I probably worked through a fair bit of that. As far as just simply expressing what was inside of me and putting a voice to that. Half of the journey with speaking the truth and speaking our own truth is confronting those differences between the body, communicating what's inside the body, and speaking about it, putting a voice to it. Because if you imagine, it's like a little child that wants your attention. If you don't give it attention, it's just going to like starve to death. It's not a really nice outcome. And so your body and everything in your body is asking you to do this. And by you vocalizing it, you actually put life to that. And you give it a chance to air out and to perhaps transmute it and shift it. This is why the speaking in front of the camera is so valuable. And if you're aiming to be authentic, because you're expressing what you're going through, what I'm doing right now, expressing it to a bunch of friendly strangers, there is this effect that's taking place where as I'm speaking and as I'm speaking about certain things that I'm going through, you'll be noticing it going on in your body as well. There'll be certain things you'll become aware of just because I'm speaking about it. This is the mirror neurons. Something I heard Tony Robbins mention this. When we're in rapport with someone, if we're watching a video, if we're, example, when he runs a seminar, everyone's in rapport with him, and the neurons in their body start mirroring the neurons in his body. So if he's highly energetic, then they're highly energetic, and it moves so much within the body, within the whole, everything. And it's incredibly powerful. If you're spending time with people who are like this and they're like, I don't like life. Monday again. I've got a whole week ahead before we get to the weekend. It's like, what kind of reality do you think you're going to be creating for yourself? It becomes poison after a while. Sure, it could be okay for a while. It can be fun. Seems like fun. Until you remove yourself from those toxic situations and realize that you actually want something better than that. And you may not want something better than that, and that's okay. There's been a lot of shifts that I've made in my life. moving out of different groups and feeling how much energy I want to put into those groups. This is like, it's difficult. It's really difficult. And it doesn't mean that I hate the people. In fact, I really love the people that I've been hanging out with over the years. And some they just don't match the goals that I have. And that's purely what it is. If I'm wanting to, which I am wanting to manifest like many millions of dollars. And I still struggle to say that because, yeah, my own echo chamber is still echoing that. So I'm going to get used to saying that. I will be a millionaire one day. And, oh, man, it's weird stating the things that you want and you desire. Have you ever tried it? If there's something that you feel is like a little bit out of your reach, something that you really desire and you want to own it, try to speak about it, even if it's to yourself. That's something that I'm going to know. I'm going to speak about these things to myself because I know when I can listen to my own voice, when I can receive that advice, I'm more likely to take action on it. It gives me a chance to really digest it. Because when I go to speak to people about it, I have conviction. And as you could tell, I didn't have conviction around that. So I'll be working on that. And if you notice that you're speaking about something on camera and it's difficult to say, take note of that. Maybe write it down. Realize that there is something beneath that. There is a belief. There is something that's not allowing you to say that clearly. And, oh yeah, I've still got a little bit of stuff with the camera. Okay. Yeah, I still had a bit of fear around the camera as well. That's so interesting. Yeah, I'm like trying to hide myself behind the veil of this this phone. Oh man, that's all right, cool. Let go of that fear. That doesn't really need to be there. So I'm still afraid of judgment. There was still a fear of being myself in the world and actually being loud. That was one of the big things, is being loud and being okay with it. The fear that I had was around being seen as aggressive. Like if I were to be truly loud and truly be myself, then I wouldn't be perceived as friendly or loving or something like that. And yeah, this is like, yeah, there's my voice that's coming out now. There is this like naturally loud voice that I have, and there's such a tendency to want to like minimize it, make it small. So safe to say, I have entered the room and my voice is here. Over the last 3 days, I spent time in a room with about 35 women. There was about 4 guys in the room. And we were doing all of this light language stuff. It's super woo-woo, super like out there, and also it crosses into the quantum field, which is also scientific in a way. Now, being able to like connect our bodies to this, I had so much resistance to it. I had this belief that men don't do this kind of thing, and that only women do spiritual stuff. Only women do healing energy work. What a cop-out, a complete cop-out. And it's like, as a man, to deny ourselves energy work is actually something that makes us codependent. Because we expect women to do all that stuff for us. Maybe we think it's bullshit. Maybe you do. That was the belief that I had. Not what I experienced in that room. There was so much there was so many shifts that took place in people's beliefs, in people's ways of viewing the world, in being vulnerable, in being seen, being in their power, and it was fucking incredible. And so I'll show you what we've been doing. We've been talking in light language, and the idea is that it's channeling like source energy. And yeah, I have huge resistance to showing up and showing that to anyone in the world. Ultimately, it's like this thing where hands start moving around, and it starts like moving energy. And it's weird because when I'm around people who are more psychic, especially the people in this room, they have reactions to this sort of stuff, like direct reactions. They go, oh wow, these things that occurred. And the part of me that wanted to call bullshit was also me that had a solid belief that it wasn't real. And the limitations that are set upon ourselves when we choose a belief. We choose to believe one thing and not believe another. What can occur sometimes is, well, okay, this actually landed this morning. When we look at everything in the world that exists today, every belief system, every bit of science, every bit of creativity, mathematics, all of it was once woo-woo bullshit. All of it. Do you think everyone just accepted the decimal system when it first came in? Do you think everyone just accepted, you can see with the past stuff with Christ, the Jews created, everyone split off and created new religions. Because they go, I believe this, and I believe this, and I believe this. And it's like, cool, you've just created separation. Well done. Because in choosing your belief, you deny another one's existence. Now you can have a belief and be open-minded about that. And see that you're actually worshipping the same thing. Science, atheists, they worship infinity. They worship science. Science is a religion. You've got Christianity. In Christianity, they believe in God and Jesus Christ. Now, a lot of other spiritual practices also believe in Jesus Christ, but not in the same way that Christians believe them, or the way that the Jews believe in Christ. And it's like, yeah, everyone's got different frameworks for it. Who gives a fuck if you're right? It's like, what do you really get out of it by saying that someone's wrong? And this was my process that I was going through over the weekend, or over the last few days, around what do I have to gain by saying that this is bullshit? What I have to gain is really blocking myself off and being closed-minded. It's not really a gain. I get to basically stay the same. I get to stay in my same stories. I get to block myself off from magic in the world. Because that's what it is. It's magic. It's like what I saw in that room was magic. And it's so damn cool. When I look at my younger version of myself, me as a kid, to discover that magic is actually real. It's fucking cool. It's fun. It's like, and also grounding that into reality and realizing, okay, how does this all work in 3D reality. Like, just like take this, okay? Someone had an idea to create this water bottle. It started off as a thought. It started off as something that was floating around out there. The person who invented it would have told you that it didn't really come from them, that something just popped into their head one day and go, okay, well, I'm going to create this shaped water bottle. Maybe they were drawing plans and maybe it came out that way. And then it became this 3D thing, this physical thing that's being created. Like, if that's not a manifestation of magic, I don't know what is. It's like, it happens to us constantly. We take something that's an idea and we go, cool, and we bring it through our bodies and we create something from it. We birth something. It's like, it's so damn cool. And it does depend on how you like to view it. It depends where you outsource your authority to. Because if you outsource your authority to someone that says, this is the one and only way that life exists, one and only way that life is, well, you're kind of fucked, really. Maybe it might work for you for a little bit of time. It's going to become a very, very closed-minded view of reality. And yes, I've had that tons of times. And there is this tendency for everyone to want to pick sides and say that there is this side and this side. And man, we're all on the same team. That's all there is to it. That's the truth that I can see. We're all the same team. Some people have chosen good, some people have chosen evil. Ultimately, we're all the same beings experiencing themselves. And have you ever had the experience where you've been talking with someone and they seem scarily similar to you, and you're like, maybe you realize that what they were talking about was something that you've had happening for you, and they're telling a story and you find your own stories unraveling, maybe happening while we're on this call. Look, I feel like I'm on a Zoom call. Oh, that's so cool. How cool is it that we can like send videos via this phone? It's pretty damn cool. And so back onto the topic of magic and the voice. I mean, your voice can create magic. Why else would you want to take things to a YouTube channel? I mean, you could have 3D goals. And I say 3D goals because it's like you got material things, you got money you want to make, you've got a business you want to build. And then like, what above that? Is there something above that? Do you want to connect with people? Do you want to like make a difference? Because making a difference is something that's not really physical. You may not know if you're making a difference. I mean, I don't know if I'm making a difference. I only know that if I'm making a difference if someone tells me. But other than that, it's letting these things out and letting the creations out and saying, hey, cool, they're yours now. Any of the downloads that I've had are yours. And the word downloads, for those who aren't familiar, it's just an idea that's come through. And it's like downloads from the internet. I really love how the internet has become such a form of interconnectedness, and some people use it really well and some people don't quite know how to use it. It's like so many things that we could definitely learn at school that would really help in life. Some really meta skills, like for example, talking to a camera, talking through the camera, being able to speak to people through that camera, allowing other people to feel what we feel, allowing you to see what I see and to craft that image. And part of this thing is actually people that talk with their hands. They're actually doing this, like they're communicating in an extra way that is non-verbal, which is so cool. And to summarize, the way that you choose to show up in life is going to be completely up to you. You may feel like someone's controlling the way that you turn up in life. And my friend, that is simply an illusion. Even if it's in the 3D, if it's physical, if it's happening to you, there is a choice that you can make. And whilst it may feel hopeless, we've all got choices to make. And I realize there's also the comparison of, well, there's people being bombed and there's people in wars and all of that. And that is nothing to do with your life. It's sad and it's tragic, and the best thing that you can do is be your best self and turn up and be you. That's what I realized for myself. By turning up and being your most authentic version of you and tapping in with what it is your soul wants you to do, you can become a light for this world. You can fulfill a mission, fulfill a vision, maybe something that will impact a large number of people. And whilst we're focused on other things, it's I do wonder sometimes whether we are meant to actually engage ourselves in all of this worldwide stuff. Things like before the internet, we wouldn't have known that there was a war going on overseas until a long time afterwards. Maybe before phones, all of that. We've got this technology and it can often distract ourselves from our own lives. As far as I can see, the purpose of living life is to be so immersed within our own life that we can actually give to others. That we fill our own cup up. And yeah. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, please subscribe and give me a like or a comment, whatever you feel called to, and I will see you tomorrow. See you guys.